Hey, this is Dr. Don McGrath with another Scale Pathway Marketing Minute. So what I wanted to do in today's lesson, these are short little lessons about tidbits on marketing. I wanted to share 3 things that I've learned that I thought were really insightful, really valuable from one of the masters, right? This person has probably been responsible for hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars in sales. This guy is like a master of ad copy. Now, most of what he did was in print and a little bit in television, but I think a lot of this stuff still applies. And I just wanted to show you a couple of examples, share with you some of the insights that I learned that I think you can use in writing your own copy, designing your landing pages, designing various ways that you're communicating with your perfect clients. So this is the book, Ogilvy on Advertising. It's absolutely fantastic, only available in paperback. So, you can't get it in Kindle or anything, but it's really, really good. Some of the stuff isn't really that applicable to most of us, but the chapters that are good are really good. They're really, really applicable. So there's 3 things that I learned. So I'll walk you through what I learned and some of the rationale, so you don't have to go read the whole book necessarily. So here's the first thing. Caps, when you use caps, use them sparingly. It turns out, he says this a lot, the eye is a creature of habit. The eye is a creature of habit. So we recognize patterns that we're used to seeing, and we can easily read them, easily recognize the patterns and internalize them, figure out what they mean and not have to work too hard. See, when we work too hard, we don't want to do that. We go, right? So our job as copywriters and designers is to make things that people can consume very easily without having to work very hard. Okay, so you'll see on the left, there is a phrase. There are magic words that will ignite the desire of your perfect client and make them compelled to work with you. Okay, this is some copy that we use for 6-minute webinar. Now on the right is that same phrase in caps. All caps, okay? Notice how much harder that is to read. And Ogilvy says that when you read caps, you read it almost a letter at a time. So it slows the processing of your brain down enough that it makes it really hard to read. So I'm not saying never use caps, but use caps sparingly. They are not only very difficult to read, but they can sometimes make the person feel like they're being shouted at. Okay, the caps can feel like you're being shouted at. So where might you use caps? So I was having a meeting with someone who's also a skilled copywriter, and they said they like them like in banners for short phrases, attention getting. Wait, there's more. Wait, here's a gift. Short, attention getting things that your brain can just get very, very easily. But not, in fact, we were reviewing a page recently and I was like, there's just too many caps on here. I feel like I'm being shouted at, A, and B, I'm having to work really hard and I didn't read all the copy on it. So use caps sparingly. I hope you feel the energy in these words. On the right side of the page, it's difficult to read and you feel like you're being shouted at. Left side of the page, really, really easy. Our eyes are used to seeing those letter patterns and we consume them when we read it effortlessly. All right. So do you love that? If you love that, drop a comment and say, mind blown, love it. Okay. Leave me some feedback. I love getting feedback from you folks. All right. So that's lesson number 1, caps, use caps sparingly. Lesson number 2. So bulleted lists. So these are the same exact bulleted lists. On the upper one, I have no periods at the ends of the bullets, and on the bottom ones, I have periods at the ends of the bullets. And just read through those. Read through those and see how they feel to you. Okay, once I picked up on this, I understood why that it's much easier to read the the things without the periods or not unpunctuated bullet lists than with the punctuated bullet list. And Ogilvy, what he says is those periods are stops. The eye is a creature of habit. So we're used to seeing a period and stopping. It's a pause. It's the end of a sentence. It's a pause. So do you want people to pause, or do you want them to keep reading? You want them to keep reading as quickly and smoothly as possible. So be able to craft an engaging and effective story, have experience telling your personal story, or with the periods, be able to craft an engaging and effective story. Stop. Have experience telling your personal story. Stop. Okay? So don't use periods in your bulleted lists. All right? They make it a little harder to read. They're stops. They're hard stops that make people possibly stop, slow down, or move on. All right? So don't use periods on your bulleted list. Okay? Third is a white text or black text on white background versus white on black. It's on white text on black background. Okay, so just sit with that and see if you notice a difference in readability between the left side and the right side. Just sit with that for a minute. Which did you find easier to read? The eye is a creature of habit. So study after study after study after study after study after ads after ads after ads after ads show that black, like a dark font on a white background, black on white, is the most easy to read, the most easy to comprehend, and it just keeps people's attention better and longer than does white on black, or worse, like red on blue, which you can't even read. Okay, so there's some color combinations that you just cannot read. So unless you're really compelled, unless you're trying to do something from a design standpoint really interesting, use dark with a light background. Okay, it doesn't always have to be black, but dark on a white background has the best contrast, easiest for your eye to see. Your eye is a creature of habit. Remember that. Eye is a creature of habit. So what it's used to seeing, it finds most easy to read and comprehend. And the last thing you want to do is make it hard to read and hard to comprehend, because people will say, oh, this is too hard. You know, subconsciously, this is too hard. I'm going to go eat a donut. That's much easier. All right. So I'd love to know what you thought of these tips. I actually thought they were absolutely fantastic, and they're going to become part of my copywriting and design Bible. So use caps sparingly, leave bullets off the end of your bullet list, and black on white unless you have some really overarching, compelling reason to do otherwise. All right, this is Don, and I hope don't feel too bad about this. I just really love this stuff, and I hope you do too. All right, go put it into action. Success rewards action, and see you in the next lesson.